that are currently sort of synced. Kayla, what's up? That are currently sort of synced. Um, glad to have you back. Hope you had a good day. Are they getting coded? Oh yeah, encoded. OSHA is not gonna like this. OSHA can kick my. No, I'm just joking. Well, OSHA can't tell anything to the owner of the business. OSHA is occupational, so it's for the employees of a company. So it wouldn't apply in this situation. I work for nobody in this context. Um, Planeteer number one. And oh yeah, Palantir. Sorry, I was like, what's the name of that company? Palantir. Can you be careful? Actually, that's true. I don't want to make enemies of Palantir. For what I know, that could be the last enemy. No, I'm just joking. Well, I mean, not really. They are large and powerful, so no need to make enemies. So we're just gonna progress the teleportation test as far as I possibly can. I mean, we might not work on it too much because I really don't want to push it today. I think I want to take a chill day. But if anything occurs to me, I'll go ahead and work on it. Nothing is currently standing out to me other than the fact that we haven't fully synced. That might be a worthwhile endeavor. We have not. This is why it's good to do stuff that you just like to do because I'm going to be honest, I'm actually a little bit tired. I don't even feel like doing anything. Why is everyone saying gloves? You find my hands to be ugly? Well, guess what? These are the hands of a scientist. And if you can't take it, I understand, because little things bug me as well when I watch certain stuff. Like when I watch those, I used to really like manicure videos or like pedicure videos or whatever. So we're gonna encode the Teleporter 13 satellite with its counterpart, which was previously propped up over here on this time machine, but we're gonna finally make it a single concept invention where everything is connected. Actually, let's go ahead, get this under here. Copper is really a wonder material. Really a wonder material. For it to be a metal and then to still be so moldable is absolutely out of here. I never would have guessed it. Let's actually, oh yeah, let's get it like that. Boop. Okay. It's not being able to support its own weight, but this is good because at the very least it's giving us some copper working levels. Doing this RPG style. Boom. Boom. Wow. Wow. Perfect, I won't say it's perfect, but it's definitely not looking too crazy. Thorfinn is the Thorfinn. Thorfinn is here. The son of what's his name? His dad's name? I don't remember. Doctor Science, Sir Doctor. Hoverboard test. I could do a little bit of a live hoverboard test, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, we're getting the teleporter slightly moved ahead, which is a good thing. Again, that's the benefit of it. Ooh, that's perfect. That I'll give that to perfection. It is definitely good to be working in a time machine, just vastly accelerating my work. But anyway, so you can see how these even look like portals. They're rising to the top, which is actually kind of confuddling. Um, let's go ahead and fully submerged. They really look like portal in and outs. Now, you don't really see people talking about like jumping into a portal and then jumping out of it or anything like that. It's just kind of interesting. So I'm thinking what's happening. Oh, where was it? Bro just commented all the different names. There's Thorfinn, Thorkel, yeah. Is this just a prototype or will it be a bigger size when it is finished? Oh yeah, this is a model even. It's actually not even a prototype, it's a model. So concave portals, right? Could be jumping in. So we already have our element here. What I think is going on actually, and I'll let you know. I'll be right back and I'll let you guys know because it's interesting. Sorry about that, you guys. But I think what might be going on with the teleporter is I think it might be dimensionally unbalanced. And so we're accidentally sort of disintegrating or not literally though. Um, Liam, what's up? Great to see you back. We are disintegrating the sent item dimensionally, and it's encoding spread out over time, which is kind of why I did the spread out time machine portal. I think in retrospect, because I wasn't thinking this at the time, but it makes sense anyway. To stabilize, sort of. Why did you cut the teleportation ring in half? Which ring? Oh, it's not. It's not cut in half. It just has some extra material on it. It's quasi. Just using the slime to represent the outer core of the cores on the teleportation ring. You see, I've encoded it with a also encoded time machine chip. Copper encoded time machine chip. Oh, well, it's not going to go back in now. It was a little wet in there. That's good though. Good thing I got it out before it fully disintegrated. So it's actually almost using it as some sort of battery, or it could just be the liquid from the slime. But anyway, oh, oh my gosh. Wow, perfect. Perfect. Um, and so what I think is going on, there's a small piece of copper in here that we're using as our scent object. I think it's basically sort of disintegrated isn't really quite the right word, but I think it's being teleported into a middle dimension sort of state where instead of going straight as one object and us having both items here, which wouldn't be too difficult to do. Well, I mean, obviously teleporting it would, but I mean to do literally just to put the same thing in both things. I think it's sort of entangling the concept of copper more into the workspace, which is good because it's almost teleporting a teleporter out of imagination here. So basically, it's sort of, and this is just what I think. Um, and I know people could encourage me to trust my brain less, but I don't really care what they say. Um, and so what I'm getting is literally, which is good though, because by sending the copper, it's entangling, not in the traditional sense of entangling, but in a more general sense, it's entangling um, the concept of copper into the different moments and conceptions, even of the teleporter itself. Now, that's fine. Um, but again, I actually don't even think, to be honest with you, because I know people can think I'm just making stuff up, which I am, and it's probably at this stage far more metaphorical than it is literal. But I also think quite literally, this is how nature works as well. Like you have to go out, if you perceive even the tracks, that evolution took and everything like that, we assume so much stuff is random, but I think there's just a lot of misunderstanding to the flow of creativity and the power dimension potentially. So anyway, so you have to understand most people are really more than anything afraid of the creative state of their own brain and the creative state of other people's brains. Why? Because it's so potentially powerful, So it's not even worth risking the good because they think about the bad. Anyway, but if you just simply harness your own ability to create, you can move step by step, which is what I think we're doing here. And I think that quite teleportation might be a natural force for this exact reason, right? So the 13th dimension is actually relatively low as far as dimensions go, but it could be that the 13th dimension was very instrumental teleportation in the construction of the universe. Why? Um, well, we'd have to go back and do some more studies to really figure out some of, because there's very many things that people don't understand about the Big Bang. There's some huge conflicts in data with the model. Um, and if we understand what role each dimension truly played, then we can understand more clearly why the universe took this path to where we are and why, TVs were inevitable. 19th dimension. You know what I mean? Yeah, because if you don't, then things will just what? Yeah, that is the newest thing. You can shout out ST and one other and a few other gentlemen for forcing me to probe into the 19th dimension. I think I may have discovered some things with the 19th dimension, and it's funny because I've been incorporating screens into my work. I know some of this stuff is out of here, but in like 3 years, this is going to be my old science, and I'm going to be on new stuff. So let's enjoy it while it lasts. But I've been incorporating screens. I've been incorporating them into the workspace. I don't know if anyone's been seeing some of those tests that I've been doing over the course of the last weeks or so, but more, and that never happened before, but I've begun incorporating them. So I think there's something very fascinating going on with screens. It's really, so our brains become very, just have a hard time conceiving higher dimensions, a very difficult time. That's why we use certain words and we just kind of forget about them. And then we just use them very gingerly, essentially, because we don't really understand. We don't know what it means to screen something, to use it as an adjective. Anyway, let's get back to the teleporter here. This isn't supposed to be another rant time. All right. We've made some good progress. Made some good progress. I'm thinking we might need to use this as a sort of data port. Of course, right now it's purely low tech in nature. And see, this is getting into some fascinating ideas. Because not only is this helping me with the teleportation and the teleporter core, this is also helping me understand a concept I was trying to build for the hoverboard and the hover core. Jaden, you're gonna get kicked out of here. Okay, you don't need to. You're practicing. You know what they call that in a corporate environment? Harassment. Jaden, don't start off so young being a harasser. Yeah, no worries. Um, so let's get into um, some data port action here, because you're gonna need. I don't even remember what I was talking about before, but you're gonna need a time machine and a data time flow keyed into. Oh, okay. I was talking about the core concept. So with the hoverboard, and I'm going to give you guys another sneak peek. This is not has not been released yet. Okay, it has not been released yet, but this is the updated one that I did my most recent tests on. That is going to be released upon the morrow. You guys are fully ahead of the entire world right now. But if not the hoverheads, then who? But one, so this, oh my gosh, let's get into it. I thought I was tired. So the hover suit is going to be a whole suit, and the board is going to be connected to it, which is why the copper is going to be very important too. So there's going to be a jacket, a hover jacket, hover pants, hover boots, hover glasses, all these different things. And they're all going to connect. How I do that, that's actually where magnets are going to come in. People thought about, like, they keep asking me, when are you going to do more stuff with magnets? That's actually where the magnets are going to be very useful, just to get the low impact docks going, because you want to be connected all the way through, but it's also very dangerous to be like tied to a board. So the hover boots will just have some basic magnetism that allows them to port. And one concept I was thinking about that I haven't even invented yet is something called a hover core. Now this hover core will handle most of the things that you need in order to run a hoverboard. One of those things is going to be cooling. So it'll have a cooling module so that you can transport cooling, and it'll probably be relatively attached to the hover belt or something like that. And so I'll have cooling, so that, and the copper will be in play with that. Maybe copper pipes of some sort. I'm not really sure. We don't want anything that's going to be too heavy. But anyway, it's going to have its own systems of flow, as well as delivering power to the different components on the board that use power. Though we're going to use electricity very sparingly, extremely sparingly. Oh my gosh, I'm just leaving the unseen hoverboard out there for anyone to see. But this really levels me up and helps me to understand the connection from the core to the system. Now this is a teleportation system, but the teleportation core is a dense, highly condensed version of the concept of teleportation, supplying everything needed, and for the connection itself to be a time machine portal is almost completely out of here. It's almost completely out of here. Bonkers out of here. Wow. Wow. Another reason to publish work is so that no matter what, at least your work gets out there. I'm so glad that at least, the hoverheads. Maybe some great hoverhead scientist one day will take it even further than I could have ever imagined. So anyway, So that's gonna add more encoding. I think I'm gonna. By the way, this study's helping me so much. Well, you know what? I'm glad to hear it. I'm just gonna chat with the hoverheads a little bit more. I'm gonna end the tests here as of now, as I'd like to get a little more sleep than usual tonight. Can you send me the data afterwards? I'm constantly releasing the data. I'm getting a lot faster at it, so you can be sure that it will be on there. I'm trying to figure out how to save the videos here on TikTok, so I will figure out about that. What about Metal? Thank you so much, Metal. Isaac, quadrant level 3 interdimensional geometry has now been breached. Astonished. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Luxatina, okay, good night. Okay, Luxatina. Jesse, good night to you as well. Hope you have a good night. Read a few more hoverhead comments before we go. Jaden, are we still using kinetic sand, boss? Currently, no. I've sequestered all the kinetics. Well, not sequestered, but I've gathered the former topological 13th dimensional field. Currently, not utilizing it in any type of way, though. I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt, but I'm not really sure what application I have for it right now. Have you thought about the cow mechanic? No, I don't know what that is. Have a good night, Simon. Thank you so much. You too. I appreciate you being here. Dylan, could you tell us about quantum teleportation? I actually have not really done any research into quantum teleportation. I'm going to be honest with you. I did a little bit, and it made me more confused than before I had done anything on it. Opinions on Neuralink. I think it's great in highly medical circumstances. I wouldn't really go about doing anything with your brain for any casual purpose. But I mean, obviously, if you have some sort of huge disability that it can improve even marginally, I mean, I can't hold you. But mobility might become stalled technically, literally. When you perfect the time machine, well, yeah, I mean, I actually already do. It's actually currently one of my most sought after things, which is kind of crazy. And it's a huge blessing, you know. I just appreciate everybody who's out there. This entire page, this man, I don't get it. It's just science, my friend. Your videos terrify me. I think some people have a natural fear of time. You know, they don't like to get older. They don't like to, so certain things unsettle them. And I think that's all of us to a certain extent. But you have to get to a place where you realize, guess what? Nothing that crazy is going to happen. Unless it does. But if it does, trust me, it was a long time coming. So there's no point in you worrying about it. I'll keep note of this. I hope that you do, my friend. How come electrons orbit? Hey, Dylan. We got into it last night. I don't know if I can pick that up again right now, but essentially it's just because they're straight chilling. They want to be next to the proton because it's positively charged, but that's just as close as they can get, you know. Which is really fascinating because electrons are doing it spatially, right? But we orbit. I mean, we're orbiting the sun. We're orbiting the sun purely on a localized spatial thing called speed. And it really gets that interplay of space and speed. Because the only reason we're not heading straight into the sun is because of how fast we're moving. That's the only thing keeping us from just going straight into the sun. Hoverpod, good name for your podcast. I need to get back into podcasts. Do people still listen to podcasts? Because I'm sure I could kill a podcast at this point. You're ahead of our time. Hey, we're all ahead of other people's times. Oh, okay. People still listen to podcasts. Hey, I could make. I mean, this is already a podcast. I would just like record this and then publish this as audio. Because it's already an hour and a half every day. So if you're able to take the hypotenuse of the quadratic triangular axis on the board, you'd see a result. Well, that sounds interesting. I definitely should. Yeah, I guess I should. Okay. I have to think about how to do that. I'll have to think about that. It wouldn't be too hard. I just have to have another device just recording it. Or I could just download the whole video and upload it as audio. Actually, I could probably upload these lives straight to a podcast platform. And then you could watch them as a video or just listen to it. I'm going to do that. When do you think the first hoverboard will be made? I've already made one, so this would be the second and a half one, and I think it'll be done by the end of this year. Have you, hopefully, actually, no, I'm going to force it. So, to be honest with you, this is what I'm going to do. I'm using my research on the hoverboard, and this is going to, I don't know, maybe, I think some people don't agree with some of my approaches, but I'm going to have two. One of them is going to simply be, let me close some apps. Hopefully that's enough apps that I closed. One of the hoverboards is just going to be a very well designed board using the best, based off of my research, the best and most synergistic parts from the existing skateboarding market. And then the other one is going to be a set of exchangeable modifications that you can apply to any skateboard. So it won't really be a whole board. Well, there'll probably be whole ones too, but a set of modifications that you can add to any skateboard. And then there's the suit. So the suit is going to be interesting, though. I don't know practically how you do that, because it's like some people are the same height, but then they don't have the same size shoe. I mean, it gets complicated. I'd have to. Yeah, I'm actually I am looking at America for the shoes. I was looking at it, but then some people gave me some other good suggestions. Some people were like, check out Globe, and I was like, well. And then someone said Etnies, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm moving too fast. I like America for it, for the shoes at least, but then I still have to pick the brand because I want to use all existing products to start as the ground level of the suit, and then we'll upgrade them slightly. So I have to look at who I want for the pants, who I want for the jacket, who I want for the glasses, which the glasses I might do that 100%. I might. Yes, it's live. Yeah, sorry, I know I haven't moved anything around in a little bit, but we're live. Anyway, I was getting off. I was going to sleep. So I'll see you guys later. I thank you so much for being out here, hanging out. How's the hover boots coming? I'll probably have my first pair within the week. It's becoming a critical need. You should work for DARPA. I mean, we're making our own DARPA. Jaden, good night. Music to my ears. Thank you for the good job. H, did you learn more about the quantum bubble? Not so much tonight. Lux Tina, bye. Thanks for hanging out when I didn't leave immediately. I appreciate you. But you guys have a blessed night. Continue being kind. Please be kind in every situation, especially when it's hard. That's one thing that I struggle with too, because it's just like, sometimes you just don't want to, you don't have the energy, you don't have the mental creativity in the moment. But that's why you have to plan ahead, plan ahead to have extra reservoirs of kindness. And have a blessed day. Continue to be creative, smart, beautiful people that you are. It's been a blessing to be live with you, and specifically you. Have a great day tomorrow. Shine bright.